The more time that flies by, the less likely it seems first home buyers will ever get on the property ladder. According to REINZ's latest residential report, the median house price in New Zealand is sitting at $850,000. Today, thanks to our partners Property Apprentice, we'll talk about the importance of parents helping to buy their kids their first home. CEO Debbie Roberts is with us this morning. Debbie, good morning.
Good morning. I got a promotion. I'm not CEO.
Yeah, I was going to say you're CFO, aren't you?
Yeah, financial advisor.
Tell me, first of all, you've got some numbers. You've been crunching some numbers, and I really want to know what you've found for us.
Yeah, so I've written it down because memory's not great at the moment post-COVID. So an 18-year-old on minimum adult wage, so they're earning $44,096 a year, right? If they start contributing 3% towards their KiwiSaver, if they're in an aggressive KiwiSaver fund, within 10 years they'll have 43 grand. So if they meet up with someone else, life partner, who's also done the same thing, in 10 years' time they'll have 86 grand for their first home deposit that they'll be able to pull out. They could also qualify for a first home grant, which is between 5 and 10 grand each, depending on whether you're buying an existing house or a new build. So that could give them maximum, and based on current lending criteria, which is really strict, really tight lending criteria, if they've got a couple of boarders that, that they have living with them as well, they'd be able to borrow up to about 650 grand, which gives them purchase price of up to 740. So, that's just one example of what you could do. So obviously, if they contribute more than 3%, they'll have a bigger deposit.
Yeah, so 3% of your earnings on the minimum wage within 10 years, you'd probably have enough, so long as you were shacked up with someone, probably have enough for your own place.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're not on minimum wage or you're contributing more than 3%, it's even better. So it's one of the things that I've been really concerned about recently is all the comments about how impossible it is to buy your first home. And I really worry that we're sending the wrong message to young people. It's like, because if they don't think they're ever going to be able to do it, they're not even going to bother trying.
It's true. It's true. What about for parents who are watching this morning and who might have a child in this exact situation? They're on the minimum wage, they've been working really hard. Are there little things they can do or could be doing before they leave home to help?
Absolutely. So I would suggest, and this is not individual financial advice obviously, but as general information, the sooner people start a KiwiSaver fund, the better. So, if you've got babies, start a KiwiSaver fund for them and just contribute whatever you can, like even if it's just $10 a month, it'll help. And then when your kids get a bit older, like if they start part-time work, for example, get them to start contributing as well. Encourage them to do that. When they start working full-time, encourage them to contribute as much as they possibly can. So, the sooner you start, the easier it gets for them, basically. There's some other things that parents can do as well. They can let the kids stay at home a little bit longer. Don't kick them out of the house at the age of 18 like we used to get. My parents moved.
Just to get away from you.
No, sorry, Mum, I didn't mean it.
They were next door, but
I'm sure that wasn't the only reason. No, they moved city. I'm sure it wasn't the only reason. I'm going to get in trouble for that. But and parents can give equity gifts to help their kids as well. If they're in a position to be able to do that, then that helps keep the mortgage down for the kids as well. But yeah, certainly no reason why people wouldn't be able to do it on their own.
No, and the main thing, as you say, is just a bit of hope that you can get there eventually, because I think people would start to put their money elsewhere. They would maybe not save as much because they just don't expect that it will ever happen.
Yeah, I think we need to start having conversations with our kids about smart money management, like being responsible with your money, because things like afterpay and cranking up credit card bills and stuff like that, that's really going to limit your ability to purchase a home further down the track.
I think parents too will feel, for those who are renting, will think, it's really hard, I'll have nothing to pass on and help my child to get into a home. But as you say, if you don't need to necessarily own a home now to help. You can
absolutely. And like an 18-year-old, like I said, if potentially in 10 years' time they'll be able to own their own home and then pay that off over 30 years. They're going to be mortgage free by the time they retire, well and truly before they retire. You know, so that means that in retirement, they're not going to have to be paying rent, you know, which is just a poverty trap.
It is. It's so stressful. Debbie, thank you for coming in. Great to see you as always. Property Apprentice at CFO. Debbie Roberts with us, thanks to our partners at Property Apprentice. Debbie, of course, kicked out of home.